So we're gonna start today's video by talking about Bo-Katan, and you might be thinking, hang on a minute, it's been a while since Mando Season 3, The Mandalorian Season 4 is not going to be for a long time, the current rumour states 2025, but let me explain. I made a ton of videos about Bo. When Mando Season 3 was airing, she was really the star of the third season, one of the catalysts connecting the first 3 seasons in a way. Even though she didn't appear until Season 2, Chapter 11, we learnt in Season 3 her involvement in the Night of 1,000 Tears, how she did what she thought was best for her people. She surrendered in good faith, and defeat seemed imminent. She met with Moff Gideon. The ISB reached out to her and negotiated a ceasefire. However, Gideon lied. In exchange for submitting to the Empire and disarming, all remaining cities were to be spared, and she handed over the Darksaber to the Moff, assuming he'd keep his word. She didn't trust him, but it was the only chance she had. He betrayed her, and the Purge of Mandalore resumed. But now that we know the truth, we see that Bo-Katan was the rightful leader. She was brave and did the right thing, even though so many Mandalorians blamed her for the downfall, including the armourer in the Book of Boba Fett. But there was more to the story during the time she wielded the Darksaber, and how she lost it to Moff Gideon before the events of Season 1. And without Bo-Katan, there would be no reunification. But now that Ahsoka Season 1 has come to an end, fans are looking forward to the next chapter of the Mando-verse. Skeleton Crew, which we spoke about in depth, Mando Season 4, Dave Filoni's film, and at some stage Ahsoka Season 2. Now when Ahsoka Part 7 dropped, so just before the final episode Part 8, I made a video in which I made a statement about Bo-Katan's involvement in future Mando-verse projects, because she does play into it. Before Ahsoka Part 8 revealed that it was Ahsoka and Sabine who were left abandoned on Peridea thanks to Thrawn, and it's Ezra who made it back to the known galaxy, we did know about rumours that some of the main characters were not going to make it home. At the time, I speculated if it was Sabine who was going to make it back. She is no doubt going to contact the remaining Mandos on Mandalore. Her family might have died, but she'll be thrilled to learn Mandalore is reunited. Gone are the days of the Darksaber, which is now destroyed, gone is the divisiveness, and given she is Bo-Katan's friend, she would call upon them to go and rescue Ezra and Ahsoka. But the finale played out very differently, and it's Ezra who made it back. But believe it or not, the equation is kind of similar. I mean, sure, Ezra Bridger is not a Mandalorian like Sabine is, but he did meet Bo-Katan in Star Wars Rebels, and along with Hera Syndulla, I'm sure he's going to try and get her involvement too. Ezra makes the most sense because he's got a direct connection to the Purrgil. But is he going to go back to Peridea alone to help Ahsoka and Sabine? I don't think so. I think it's time for the New Republic to organise themselves, have enough of a defence to deal with the threat of Thrawn, but also to accompany Ezra, maybe some Mandalorians. And whether Bo-Katan goes with Ezra or stays behind to defend Mandalore and get involved in the fight, Sabine once believed in her and was the reason she first got the Darksaber, and so in return, Bo-Katan is going to try and bring her home. But there is another Mandalorian we can't forget, Din Grogu, who himself is speculated to have a connection to the Purrgil as well. Imagine if Ezra takes him with him. And this connects to my theory the other day, that maybe the Grogu species, the Yoda species, originated in the second galaxy. Just some food for thought. And the incentive, from the New Republic's perspective, and the reason they will not only authorise but fund a full-scale mission to go and retrieve Ahsoka and Sabine Wren, is the fact our heroes were right. They were right about Thrawn's threat, his survival, and return to the known galaxy. But also, Sabine is seen as a hero of the New Republic and of Lothal. She is one of those that was celebrated at the start of the season, so in a way there is this oomph, this big push, there is an imperative to bring her home. But it's only a matter of time until Carson Taver tells Ezra Bridger that they also have the backing of 2 more worlds, Mandalore and Plazir 15. So as you see, this is how a lot of the Mando-verse shows overlap. The Mandalorians who've now taken back their home world are aware of the Remnant and its resources. It might be easier now to convince the New Republic Council to help out. And the Ahsoka show teased in its end credits that Mandalore's going to play a big part. As we broke down a month ago when the show first came out, the end credits feature the names of familiar planets, and one of them is Mandalore. And while it is true, Mandalore could be in reference to the Siege of Mandalore flashbacks in episode 5, I think in terms of the current day plot, there is a chance the reunification of Mandalore was in the plot for Mando since day 1. It was even foreshadowed in 2019, in the season 1 finale Redemption, Djarin lamenting about Mandalorians being scattered because of what the Empire did. And now that The Mandalorian Season 3 did that, they can utilise the reunified planet in upcoming shows, and no doubt, in Dave Filoni's film. I expect all of these elements to accumulate into a huge battle, and that makes what Mando Season 4 is going to explore even more mysterious. Is it going to be Djarin going on missions as a mercenary for the New Republic, as was teased at the end of Season 3? Is he the one, along with his son Din Grogu, going to be asked to go with Ezra to Peridea? And in the same way Book of Boba tied together Mando Season 2 and 3, is Mando Season 4 going to connect Ahsoka Season 1 and 2? And so by Season 2, and by the time of Dave's film, we do have Ahsoka and Sabine back for the big fight against Thrawn, and just give Bo-Katan and the Mandalore story a break until it connects to Ahsoka. That's a big possibility. We've spoken about the resets that Season 3 did, so it's an open book for how they continue. And there is also the chance Season 4 deals with the threat of a different remnant, not necessarily Thrawn. The Shadow Council has many members with various goals. Now wouldn't that be fascinating? But I digress. Ezra's going to play a vital role in the upcoming war against Thrawn. He is currently one of the few who knows with utter certainty that Thrawn has returned to the known galaxy. Not only this, but as I mentioned in my deleted scenes video, Timothy Zahn has hinted there is more to Ezra and Thrawn's relationship. Dialogue that was cut from the show. When they first arrived on Peridea, they were working together and they made a deal. Ezra has the best insight to help with this fight, but thinking beyond Bo, there are other allies as well. I'm not too convinced that Favreau is dead. Hu Yang confirmed that Sabine's family, Clan Wren, did indeed perish in the Night of 1,000 Tears. But even this is questionable. Until we see dead bodies in Star Wars, we don't know the character is dead, and so Ursa, Wren and Tristan may have survived, and a good family friend, Favreau, a protector of Concord Dawn, might also still be alive, and that would be a great surprise for Sabine, if the ones who come to rescue her are the ones she cares about so much that the thought of their death is what held her back for so many years. And going back to Bo-Katan, her incentive is not just to help Sabine, but also Ahsoka Tano. She is friends with both of them, and her relationship to Ahsoka Tano goes all the way back to the Clone Wars series. The two have known each other for years, and something massive to keep in mind is in Mando Season 2, Bo-Katan knew about Ahsoka's mission to try and find Thrawn, and knew her whereabouts on Corvus. She told Din, that is where you can find the Jedi. What I'm trying to demonstrate, my dear friends, is that nothing introduced in the Mando-verse is going wasted. It's all tying together, it's all connecting, it's all very deliberate, if you will. I'm thinking for Dave Filoni's film we're going to see a coming together of all of our heroes. I'm talking about Luke, Leia, and of course in Book of Boba Fett we have Boba, Fennec Shand. I know they're controversial and much disliked by the mod gang. And of course, who can forget Casantan? Share your thoughts in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give me a big fat thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one. May the Force be with you, always.